Delaware Harris. I'm currently employed as a paraprofessional working with students that have special needs.
Did you ever have any kids yourself that were on IEPs or needed special resources?
Yes, I have two children. My oldest son and my youngest son both required services. They both started off with IEPs for speech, and with my oldest son, that helped us to get him services with reading and comprehension.
So having your sons needing IEPs, do did you know all your rights as a person? I mean, as a parent.
Um, for the most part, we had to follow the HIPAA and FERPA laws in regards to our son. Um, every time we went to a meeting, we were given a handout on our rights and regulations that were put on by federal and state.
Um, can you tell me an example of two of those rights that you knew you had?
Um, they were actually for my son, and it was a right to receive services based on what he qualified for. For his, it was reading and comprehension, and so it allowed him extra time and for classwork and projects. He was also given accommodations for state tests, and his AZ merit test.
Thank you. So working in the classroom, did you ever have to inform parents of their rights that they didn't know?
On occasion,
As working as a paraprofessional, was there any time that you had to let a parent know about their rights?
occasionally when we would go to the IEP meetings with the students and the parents, there were some parents that weren't quite sure what their students qualified for and what they didn't. I felt as a parent whose children received extra services that even though it wasn't advised, I would provide them with information that I thought was useful for them and their child.
Did, was there any time or example that you can share when you felt a parent was overstepping their boundaries or maybe understepping and you needed to help them learn a little bit more?
Um, one thing that was common when I worked with students that had more severe learning disabilities or that were nonverbal and required a lot of assistance from their parents is a lot of parents didn't realize that by the time of 18, if they weren't the legal guardian of their their child, that they could no longer participate in meetings. So we would always recommend, usually around their 16th, 17th birthday, that they start looking into the process. Because once they turn 18, the HIPAA and FERPA laws apply to the parents, and then they can no longer sit in or represent their child.
One last question that I doing in my research I found out not a lot of parents knew or understood why. Did you know when your son turned 18, he could have said he did not want special needs resources anymore? According to the state legislator for education, if he turns 18 and is not deemed legally incompetent, he has the right to say he has no more services. He can be in charge of his own services, and then by then you would have to be invited by him or the school to his IEP meetings.
With my oldest son, I wasn't aware that he had that right. And again, most parents don't. They just assume because it's their child and they've gone through them throughout their whole, educational career and life. And so I wasn't aware of that.
Do you think parents should get like a mini seminar, or there should be held a know your rights as parents course for kids, or I mean for parents who are just learning that their kids have a disability, or they should be held during at the beginning of the school year to help parents better understand what they can and can't do?
Coming from a parent with a child that required extra services and working in the field with students, I find it's beneficial, or I think it would be beneficial. I'm maybe as a refresher, or if it's a first time parent. There's so much information, and every year there's more information, more legislation, and more things that your child qualifies for. And being able to access those resources for parents and children will just make the children more successful in their educational careers.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.